Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today I want to cover whether or not Bitcoin is in a bull market or a bear market. I know a lot of people are very fearful. Bitcoin isn't doing too well today. Is not off to a great start for this week. So let's take a look of whether or not Bitcoin is truly in a bull market or a bear market. So let's get started. Thanks for tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you guys are hanging in there. I know that today I kind of, foreshadowed that some of the economic news may bring on volatility if they came out bad. Well, today there was one that came out that wasn't too good and kind of spooked the equities market. So you could see that the Dow is down 600 points. NASDAQ is down 300 points, right? So overall, equities market is not looking so hot right now. And traders are, again, being reactive, and today the home builders' confidence drops for the very first time in 4 months, which isn't good. So, I mean, if you look at the index, and I'm not an expert with the index, but anything above 50 is actually good. But it's the fact that out of the last 4 months, it's been holding steady, and finally it started heading down. So many people are afraid, again, that this is indicating the market or the economy isn't as good as it seems. So again, it does seem like traders are being reactive to this story, and that's why the stocks are selling off, and it seems like Wall Street and some of the whales may be selling off Bitcoin and crypto as well. So let's start with that. That, I think, is the reason why we saw a little bit more dip today. However, whenever we have these dips, and we're used to it by now, whenever we have these slight dips, I like to remind you guys that we are still within the same range as before. We haven't formed a new low. You could see some of the previous dips from earlier this month, starting from January, the first week of January. You could see that, we had a couple of these dips, right? We had one that went down to 39.5. We had another one here at 41.3. So relatively speaking, we're no worse than we were just a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Okay, so putting things into perspective. But, the economic reports, they're coming in one after another. We do have another one, actually 2 of them on Thursday. One about jobless claims, and also another existing home builder report. So those will be important too. So a lot of these traders right now, they're just being really, really, really reactive, right? And it's definitely having effect on the crypto market and Bitcoin market. So what does this mean, though? Does this mean it's a long-term trend that Bitcoin is actually in a bear market now, or is it still in a bull market and we may just be in a bear trend? Let's just put it that way, right? So what is it? Well, let me show you some of the stuff that I found that has happened today and recently, and kind of give you my broad overview, because there's just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of data, a lot of reports, a lot of valuations and purchases. And when you combine it all, I think you guys will see what's really going on. Okay, let's first start out with some of the big announcements that have happened today. This has to be the biggest one, and I think most people discarded this altogether. Microsoft decides to buy one of the biggest game makers out there, Activision Blizzard, for a whopping $68.7 billion all cash deal. Now, when you look at this, you think, well, it makes a whole lot of sense, right? Why wouldn't? Microsoft is trying to boost their Xbox division, and of course, adding all the brands, all the games within Activision Blizzard makes sense. So now some of my favorite games like Diablo and StarCraft belongs to Microsoft, and Call of Duty and even King, which was purchased by Activision, it's all part of Microsoft. But what's the real reason, though? what's the real reason behind this? Yes, they're boosting their games, but if you read through this article, you'll see the real reason for this is right here. The deal also plays into a long-term vision for Microsoft as it competes with Meta, which is Facebook, to build technology to create a virtual world called the Metaverse. In fact, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, I think that's how you say his last name, was the very first big tech CEO to publicly acknowledge the value of the Metaverse, months before Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Today, virtual worlds are dominated by gaming, but the hope is to expand to cater to other demographics and replace a lot of the traditional social networking activity online. So this is the thing. When you look at this, their long-term vision is actually planning for the metaverse. This is the reason why they're purchasing Activision Blizzard. Of course, yes, getting all the games to be Microsoft exclusive is a big plus, but what they're really, really trying to concentrate long-term is building out their strategy for the metaverse. So this is coming from one of the largest tech companies out there on earth, trying to prepare for the next wave of gaming and social and e-commerce and everything else that comes with it within the metaverse, okay? This is absolutely huge. And of course, we know Facebook has transitioned themselves completely, basically, to the metaverse. So you got two of the top 5 tech companies in the world working on the metaverse. But that's not all. Walmart, which is the biggest retail store on earth, is also looking very seriously at getting into the metaverse too, right? So soon you'll be able to buy a virtual futon within the metaverse, within a virtual Walmart store, right? So I think this shows a pattern that these major companies, these major brands, they're spending so much right now to prepare for Web 3.0. We talk about this term a lot, but they're really, really putting down their money right now to prepare for the next generation of social and virtual and AR and e-commerce and everything else that's coming with it. So pretty big stuff coming. And in addition to all these major brands, even some of the crypto companies are putting down their money and expanding. For example, this came out. Animoca Brands, which some of you guys are familiar with, they're the company that created Sandbox and many other NFT-based games and play-to-earn games. They are basically involved with everyone. Their evaluation just doubled within the last 3 months. Now they are worth $5.5 billion. Billion with the B. So this kind of shows you how much money is being put into crypto companies that are building out the ecosystem, right? Absolutely huge. And here's another one, Metaplex. And this is a new project that's focused on NFTs and creating NFTs and minting NFTs. Of course, participated by Alameda Research. And also, you got athletes like Michael Jordan that's involved. Well, they just closed a $46 million funding round, right? So all this revolves around Web 3.0 and the future of it and how it is just growing by leaps and bounds right now. It's still early, but these companies that's involved are just really growing and making serious acquisitions right now, right? So that's number one. So are we in a bear market? Well, in a bear market, traditionally, this type of stuff doesn't happen. You don't have evaluations that keep doubling and tripling and going up, and you don't have a lot of massive purchases during a bear market. So that's number one. You got a lot of things going on. Well, I talked about NFTs. What about OpenSea? OpenSea, you would figure in a bear market, everyone would be selling off their NFTs, right? It wouldn't be doing well. But that's the opposite. In fact, January for OpenSea volume is the highest in its history. Even higher than back in August when it exploded first. And you could see this trend, how it kind of went down in November, but December it came up in a big way, and in January sales right now is higher than even back in August. It's all-time high. So you would figure in a bear market, NFTs would just be doing absolutely horrible, right? No one would be buying NFTs. Everyone would just be selling off. that's actually not happening right now. There's actually more volume right now going on than before. So think about that for a second. So are we really in a bear market? Or maybe we're not. Maybe we're just in a down state right now, right? But obviously there's a lot of money, and you could clearly see the volume up here, how it has exploded and how it's heading higher. So here's another thing. Are we really in a bear market? Well, not according to this. Not according to this at all. Well, what about some other stuff? Let's talk about some exchanges. What are the exchanges doing? Are they consolidating? Are they trying to just prepare for crypto winter? Are they trying to prepare for bear market? Well, not really. They're all expanding. So take a look. BitMEX, we know them from their old good, 100x leverage days. Well, they have revamped. They kicked out all their, prior founders. They're trying to become more legitimate, and they just acquired a 260-year-old bank, German bank, because they want to expand their offerings. They want to become legitimate, so that they can offer traditional banking services and crypto services and become one bigger property, I guess. Let's just put it that way. So exchanges are not holding tight. FTX, this just came out recently. FTX, one of my partners, establishes a $2 billion fund to invest in crypto startups. $2 billion fund. We know Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX, he's using his war chest, and he is investing right now. So obviously, this is going to help the economy, the crypto economy. And this doesn't really indicate that FTX is buckling down and trying to prepare for winter. No, they are continuing forward because they see what's coming, right? So there's just a lot of things going on. Even Kevin O'Leary recently, he went on Anthony Pompliano's podcast once again, and he revealed that his total portfolio now, his total crypto portfolio is now at 16.5% of his total portfolio. Before, he said that he would never want his crypto portfolio to be outside of 2 to 4%. Then it jumped up to about 10.7%, and today it's at 16.5%, and he's still okay with that. He likes the growth. You know why? Because he purchased Canada's largest crypto exchange, BitBuy. And he's calling it WonderFi now, right? So even Kevin O'Leary, who once upon a time thought Bitcoin's a nothing burger, now is very, very, very enthusiastic about crypto's future. So exchanges are also not indicating, they're making moves that are not indicative of a bear market. Let's just put it that way. They are still moving forward. They're growing. They want to expand even more. Right? Now, what about outside of exchanges? What about miners? We got to talk about miners, right? Well, take a look at this. The total hash rate for Bitcoin is now at an all-time high, and it continues to go up. Despite the fact we had some fun recently about Kazakhstan and their power outage and how miners may have sold, well, that doesn't correlate with this because the hash power of Bitcoin is as high at this point that ever in history. It's the highest ever. No miner is selling. No miner is turning off their rigs. So traditionally in the past, when we have bear markets, miners would be selling because they would be at a loss, or they're trying to prepare for extended winter. That's not happening right now. No one is shutting off. In fact, you have miners like Rhodium that is set to go public and is valued already at $1.7 billion. This is on top of all the other miners that have come to the North America continent, right? You have Hut 8 and Riot and Mara. Now you got Rhodium, and there's others that are popping up, and they are in it for the long haul. And their moves does not indicate we're in a bear market either, okay? The miners continue to hold, continue to mine. They even continue to borrow against their Bitcoin to buy more machines. But that is the reason why the hash rate is also going up. So again, does this indicate we're in a bear market? No, it does not. It does not at all. And you have big tech companies like Jack Dorsey's Block aka Square, that's open to building out the mining ecosystem. They're going to create an open source new Bitcoin miner. We'll see what that means, right? So there's a lot of tech companies that's also involved with mining, and not just mining, but also just growing the ecosystem, and more importantly, buying and holding Bitcoin, right? So looking at Bitcoin treasuries, we know that MicroStrategy keeps adding on and on and on and more Bitcoin. We know that Tesla and Square, they still have whatever they bought, but all the other big players, they continue to add. All the mining companies, they continue to add to what they have. And you still have investment companies like Galaxy Digital and Voyager, right? They have a ton of Bitcoin that they held over the years. And this list keeps growing. It's not shrinking. It keeps going up because none of these companies are selling. Again, are we really in a bear market? Not according to these guys. And even Fidelity recently came out and said that countries that secure some Bitcoin today will be better off than their peers. That's a big statement. That's a big statement coming from one of the biggest asset managers on the planet, claiming that you should buy Bitcoin now. As a country, you should buy Bitcoin because if you don't, you're going to be worse off than your peers. So think about that. And all this buying and all this holding, what does it mean in the long run? Well, this is what it means. The liquid supply has moved to an all-time high. Despite the fact that the Bitcoin price has come down, the liquid supply, the number of supply that is outside the exchanges that's being held by some of these big players like the miners and the whales and the institutions and tech companies, they're out of circulation. And this is the reason why liquid supply keeps going up. And of course, there are some retail investors like you and I that are smart about it, that we're taking advantage of the dips, right? We're taking advantage, we're buying, and that, of course, contributes to this. But ultimately, this is the reason why liquid supply has kept going up and is at an all-time high right now. So, putting all this together, you have some of the biggest acquisitions being done right now on Earth that we have ever seen, that's all focused on Metaverse and the future of Metaverse, right? And you have all these valuations and funding rounds and acquisitions. You have NFT volume that is still exploding. You have exchanges that's coming out with bigger and bigger funds and exchanges that are trying to get into other sectors. You have miners that continue to mine and grow and add to the network. And you have a lot of big companies that continue to buy and hold, and now even countries. So when you put it all together, are we really in a bear market? Can you say that we are in a crypto winter or a bear market? Or should we just define it as maybe we're going through a rough patch right now? Maybe we're going through a bear trend because of all the Fed announcements and the panic selling of traders. But I would say we're not in a bear market. We're still in a bull market. I honestly believe that we will still continue to head higher. You look at all the growing stuff in the system, the fundamentals, it's getting better and better and better. You can't argue that it's not getting better. So what should you do about it? You need to stay strong. That's what you need to do. You need to realize that we're at the beginning of the Web 3.0 revolution. Just like when Web 1.0 came out, not a whole lot of people believed. But the people that did, they became billionaires, okay? So we need to prepare. We need to know that Web 3.0 is coming. It's coming fast. And we're in the right space. We're in the right direction. But we just need to prepare ourselves. Maybe there's going to be more volatility short term. Maybe some of the economic reports and what the Fed is going to do and the Fed decision and the upcoming rate hikes and balance sheet, sell off will affect the market short term, but man, long term things are looking better than they ever been. And this is the space that I want to be in, and this space I don't want to leave ever. So you guys decide what you think you should do and whether or not we're in a bear market or a bull market. All right, outside of that, that's pretty much it. That's what I want to cover today. If you look at the entire list, pretty much all in red, but just slight red, not huge reds. You could see that the reds are, 1, 2, 3%, nothing double digits or anything like that. It's kind of like just one of those days. it's not good, but it's not that bad. But if you pay attention to everything else, it should give you hope to stay in the game and focus on the long term. All right, that's it. Now let's do some Q&A. All right. That was a lot said right there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I think some of you guys were prepared for me to come on and declare it's a bear market, but no, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe we're in a bear market. We could be in a bear trend. I could make the argument that we're in a bear trend because of all the panic selling by Wall Street, right? Being reactive. So I could agree with that, but we're not in a bull market. I mean, we're not in a bear market. We're still in a bull market. We just need to be patient. We have been through this before. Trust me, I have been through so many of these periods where it seems like Bitcoin cannot move and will not go up until it does. All right, we will get through it. We will. All right, scrolling up. Lucky says, if this is the bear market, I could definitely deal with it because Bitcoin is still at 41,000. So I can't disagree with that. All right, let's see. I'm scrolling up, making sure that there is nothing here. The only thing I agree with Ben about is there will be a 10 to 15K candle to the upside very soon. It's just a matter of patience. Yes, that is true. I don't know which Ben you're referring to, but yes. Don't believe in a FUD. I agree with that. Intel, Bobo says Intel has come out with new mining chips. I missed that, but I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, mining is a serious business. Miners is a serious group. I would almost compare them to like, back in the day, well, not back in the day, but all the oil refineries and all the people that control the oil fields, right? I would make that argument that Bitcoin miners are the new form of that, right? All right, let's see here. You could get a Tesla to mine. I heard about that, but you like invalidate your warranty, I believe. Microsoft deal for Activision Blizzard. I mean, that's a huge freaking deal. 68.7 billion, all cash, not even stock. This shows you the war chest of Microsoft and these tech big companies, right? They have hundreds of billions of cash just laying around, and this is Michael Saylor's worst nightmare, to have so much cash laying around and just being diluted by inflation, right? So that's why he decided to buy Bitcoin. But these big tech companies, they're buying out other companies. And you know what? In this case, it's to prepare for the future, to prepare for Web 3.0 and Web and the future of Metaverse. So it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. Let's see here. Terry says, George, when BTC goes to 20K, what's your explanation going to be then? It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. Everything I'm showing you guys is still going to be in play. So even if Bitcoin goes down to 20K, it'll be the same thing. I will turn bearish when all these things no longer apply. All right, when every single metric and all indicators show that companies are no longer interested, they're getting out of crypto, they're actually selling off what they have, they're not making investments anymore, right? When all those things happen, then you can't ignore that. But based on everything I've seen and I've shown you guys, how can you make an argument that that is the case? You can't, because it's going the opposite. More and more companies, islands and countries and tech is all moving towards Web 3.0 and acquiring more crypto. So, I mean, I don't know how you could argue against it. Let's see here. Miners keep adding, or more miners sounds inflationary to me. Alex, I don't think you understand what you're saying. That doesn't make any sense. Celsius just added Avalanche to their network. 7% APY. That's not bad, but if you natively stake Avalanche, it's already like 11%. If you do it through their web wallet, it's more than that already. So it doesn't sound like it's the best deal. Let's see. What did I miss here? Should I put my life savings in Shiba or ADA? At this point, you shouldn't put your life savings, but you should DCA. And I would say ADA would be a good DCA candidate. Thinking about getting a helium miner for passive income and to accumulate helium for sure. Do you have any thoughts? I think helium is good. If you could get a miner, go for it. They're very profitable. And also, I think the project is doing good things. Building out a low mesh network and 5G network, which we know 5G is absolutely huge. So yes, I do like the project. Suck brick, thank you. Do you think DeFi Kingdom is manipulating jewel price? No, they are not. Thoughts on Zero Wallet? I don't know too much about it, so I can't talk about it. I know that it is getting pumped and dumped a lot. I remember early 2021 you said Cardano would go to $50 in 2021. I don't know if I said $50 and Chainlink to 1,000. Yes, I was basing on if Bitcoin would hit that $100, $150 to $200,000 mark. Obviously that didn't happen, so obviously those predictions didn't come true. What do you think about Proton? I don't know. I've looked at Proton before. I wasn't very impressed by it. Why is Rocket tanking? I don't know. People, maybe they get all their kicks from open fans instead. I don't know. Let's see. Joseph says, I'm glad people are bearish. We can't all be bullish. Well, that's true. There's always a market for somebody, right? So in order for someone to sell, there's someone on the receiving end to buy, right? So when it comes to making profit or building wealth with any kind of investment, especially crypto, it's just a matter of having patience. Wealth is being transferred from the impatient to the patient. That's really how it works. There's a lot of fantastic things going on. You just have to pay attention to it. You can't pay attention to day-to-day price. And even if you do pay attention to the price day-to-day, it's not that bad. I mean, just last year, Ethereum was under 2,000. I mean, if you go last year, Bitcoin was under 20,000. And some of these prices are just, hundreds of thousands of percent higher than last year. But people don't want to focus on that. A lot of people want to focus, it fell down from 69,000 to 41,000. That's the only thing I want to look at. But even if you look at a price perspective, just zoom out a little bit. Don't look at 24 or 7 day. Just look at it from 6 months to 12 months. So if you're an investor, you're going to be concentrating long term anyways. And if you look at 6 months, 12 months, most of these projects, especially the ones that have a ton of DeFi going on with them, they're up thousands of percent. So there you go. Can you be both a bear and a bull? I don't think that's possible. Constantin, appreciate that. Solana will eat ETH lunch this year. I don't know. I still have big hopes for Ethereum 2.0. I want to see what happens once they come out with it. how they're going to use ZK rollups to scale. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So that's around 5 more months in June. Hopefully they don't delay, because if they delay it more, then it's really going to put a lot of pressure on them, because all these other chains that are up and coming, they're not going to be waiting. They're growing, and they keep growing. So let's see here. Stefan said NASDAQ is falling really hard. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's no doubt that today, the little dip that we're seeing in crypto, right, is due to this. And again, there's just a lot of Wall Street hedge funds, traders. They're just being really reactive to this. And unfortunately, you know, crypto is also getting affected, right? There's no doubt about it. There's a correlation right now. But what they don't understand is Bitcoin is not a stock. It's an asset. It's an asset that you invest in, not to trade with, right? So they're going to be the ones that's going to be FOMOing in once Bitcoin starts coming up again, right? So you don't want it to be following the herd. You want to go against the herd. And the herd right now is bearish. They want to sell, right? That's where you want to take advantage and pounce on things and take advantage when things are low, right? You want to be against the grain. Basically, going against what the fear index is indicating, which is extreme fear level, right? And I've made this argument before, because if you look at any time we have extended periods of fear, that's when Bitcoin bounces right back up, and when the crypto market bounces back up, right? So you don't want to be selling down here and buying up here. That's not what you want to do. You want to be buying down here and possibly selling up there, or just holding forward, right? So unfortunately, the volatility we're seeing right now is based on Wall Street having a panic attack right now. But they will get through it, and then they're going to come back in, and they're going to FOMO back in. But you know what? Those of us that's in the game already, we're going to benefit a lot more by being able to buy the dips right now and holding. So that's my honest opinion. Let's see. How do you make... Please do a video on how to stake for dummies. There's a lot of videos I've done already, and there's a lot of articles on CryptosRUs.com. So I honestly think that if you need a step-by-step, go to CryptosRUs.com and start checking out some of those articles. Carlos, looking forward to chatting with you. I don't know in what regards and where. Rune seems domain and quiet with all the DeFi project. What's going on with Rune? Rune is just a liquidity pool that's meant to be used with DeFi projects. So Thorchain is kind of like its own system. Not a whole lot of people talk about them. And they got hacked a couple times, right? But they're more of a liquidity provider. And you could stake. I've shown how to stake on them before, but there's something about them that just, they're not as appealing as some of the other ones that's out there. So let's just put it that. T-Bone says, Helium rewards have decreased a bit. Got mine last week. Ordered in June. Wow, that's a 6 months wait. Seems to be 300 per month in my area. Not bad. That's not bad. And I've known some people that have like 3 or 4 or more, and that's pretty good passive income right there. You just have to find places to distribute it. So that's not bad. That's not bad if you think about it. Mark, you wish you knew. George, don't you get tired of babysitting these news? The only thing I get tired of is the FUD spreaders and the people that are spreading FUD being all bearish. I don't mind answering general questions, but when I see a ton of people that's just being all bearish and just not really paying attention to anything I'm saying, well, that does get to me sometimes. But for the most part, most of you guys that are watching me have been with me for a very long time. You know what I am all about, what I pay attention to, and what, you know, the facts and the fundamentals that I present, right? But man, sometimes those FUDers, they're hard to deal with. Honey Badger says, George, have you taken any profit recently to buy these dips? No, but I told you guys I've been buying the dips, not every one, but a few occasions because I have cash on the side. I've always told you guys to have cash on the side to be able to buy the dips, right? One way to do it is take profit. Another way to do it is just to set cash on the side. You know, from whatever income source that you have, or if you have a side gig or side hustle, put some cash there and wait for opportunities. And you could either use it for scheduling DCA every single week or whatever, or you just, take advantage of dips when we have large dips. And today is not a large dip, actually. It's not, but we have had some before. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Overall, we have some volatility today. We have a little bit of a dip because of what's going on in the equities market because of bad home builder reports, but we will get through it. And this question of whether or not we're in a bear market or a bull market, you guys decide. I presented my case. I think it's a bull market. You let me know if you think otherwise. Thanks for tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.